Hi, let's take a look at another lamp which, looking at it like this, you'd say is just a normal mushroom, but no. Well, it is a mushroom, but it's a little bit different. I'll give you a little clue. This lamp, I think, was acquired, and not by me, definitely not by me, but it was acquired, I think. Now let's have a little look at certain things about it. Firstly, we see that it's a bayonet cap with 3 prongs or pegs, unlike the normal bayonet cap. So this tells you it would not fit into a normal standard bayonet cap holder, so it's been prevented for doing that. So I wonder why. There's the lamp itself. Let's have a little look inside, and I just noticed this and I was surprised. You can see that one line is fused. I think it's got a Ballatino fuse, is it called? It's glass encapsulated, but it's got like silica around it. But it's fused. One leg is fused. You might think, yeah, that could be normal. Well, let's have a little look further. It's made by Crompton, which is a well-known English manufacturer. Made in UK. Code 52. It's got BCE Co. I don't know what that stands for, but underneath there you've got BRA and a number 76677. Then you come across the voltage, 65 volts, which is an unusual voltage, and it's 40 watts. So immediately it tells you it's a very strange voltage. It's not 50 or 25, but 65. 40 watts can be normal. Let's have a look at the actual filament. This is a worker. I never light it up. You can see, it's very difficult to see the actual filament. I think that might be shown there. But looking at it, it looks like it's got 2 supports, and it looks like a standard coil filament. Whether it is coil, I don't know. It's probably not. At that voltage, it's probably just a single coil, but because it's short, it looks like it's a normal coil. Anyway, as I mentioned when I opened up, it was acquired. I didn't acquire it. Souvenir. It's just over 4 inches long, which is probably the same length of a standard mushroom lamp, that is. Yeah, there's a clue there. BR. Years ago, our railways were under British Railways. This was before they sent it out to all and sundry to run, and a right mess they made of it. But that's another story. I was lucky enough that someone got me this lamp. As far as I can understand, it was taken out of a lamp when the trains were in a siding. That's what I was told many years ago, and that is as far as I'm going to say. It's for the collection, and I have shown it before on various things. I think it appeared on Lighting Gallery. I think there's several of these about. I've got one, obviously, but I think there's others. And it always interested me because when I used to sit in the carriages, I remember the original carriage was like a single door, and it would seat about 6 people or so, 6 or 8 people. Then they became a normal carriage length. But anyhow, when you looked up towards the ceiling or the roof, this was what you saw. And when it was a light, it just looked like a normal 240 volt lamp. But obviously it wasn't. It was on 65 volt. Now, another interesting thing is, I've always said, or a friend of mine has told me this, he said, no, you only get fuses if they're on 250 volts. Now, I think we've got a clue here. I may be wrong, I stand to be corrected. These lamps were possibly run as a series. Remember, train voltage, well, the voltage of the third rail, I think, is about 650. So obviously it will be transformed down. And I think that there were several of these lamps in line, which meant that the line voltage was possibly up to 250 or even more, depending on how many lamps were in series. And I think that is why they had a fuse incorporated. If anyone knows the exact reason or has got any advice on this, let us know. As I say, it was a few years ago now, and while we're talking about lamps in trains and underground and things like that, I haven't got one. I'd love one, but I'm not cadging for one. If one turns up, one turns up. I don't think it will now. I can remember years gone by, I was in an underground train. This was possibly on the district line. The lamps there had little shades around them, and you could see the actual bulb. And often or not, the bulbs had unscrewed themselves through vibration, and that they would go off. But apart from that, I can remember the name, or not the name on them, but the initials. It had PGT. I don't know what that means. They were run by the LTE, the London Transport Executive. That was also on these lamps. And presumably the voltage, I think they were about 50 volts, but don't quote me on that. They were a silver light lamp, not this shape. They were the normal pear-shaped lamp, but they had this name PGT. Now, if someone can tell me what that meant, I'd love to know. And as I say, if one of those lamps turned up, it'd be nice as well, but I very much doubt that. I know years ago, the school I was in, and I said earlier, it was a good school, it was approved. I'm joking. On there, it wouldn't be allowed now. I don't know whether it was a sports day or a fun day. I didn't think it was very funny, but there again, I didn't. I didn't like sport at all, I hated it. But that's also another story. The organisers of this would get from London Transport, who at that time ran the underground, and they would get a hold of a masses of used lamps. They're obviously blown or nearly worn out. All right, I couldn't get a hold of them, but anyhow, that's what they did. They used to get a load of these lamps, and they used to tie them up in little bundles, and they were hung up, and the darlings would sling stones at them. It was all organised. Personally, I don't see the point, but that's what they did. And that was when I was about 10, 11, 12. I might have been a bit older, but I do remember it, and that's what they used to do. And they had these lamps from London Transport. Anyhow, I go off the subject again, as per normal. there's your lamp there. Recapping, made by good old Crompton. And used on the surface railways, which would be the southern region. The southern region was the ones which I can remember, because they ran, funny enough, in the south of London. They went down to the coast on the electrified lines, and that was the lamps they used. Southern region. The livery, I think they call it, was green, and I remember it very well. So anyhow, any comments please make. I know I've rambled a bit. I do these things. Anyhow, there's the lamp. I don't know whether my mate will have any ideas about this. He might do. You know, as I say, I think these were probably run in series. Alec, if you've got any ideas, I'd love to hear them. They've definitely got a fuse in these lamps, which is unusual for that voltage. Anyhow, all for this time. Thanks for watching. Any comments please make, and well, we'll see where we go from there. Thank you again. Thank you.